Philip Rucker is the White House bureau chief for the Washington Post, and he joins us now from Washington, D.C. So, Philip, the speaker pointed to that 2006 Secure Fence Act and said a supplemental would be coming from the Trump administration. So what do you make of it? And where does this debate over payment for the wall go from here?
Well, the payment issue is a huge one, and it's something that President Trump and the White House are going to have to deal with Congress on. I don't think Congress is eager to pay that bill. It's going to be $10 to $15 billion with a B. So we're going to have to see where that goes. It's also an issue with Mexico. What Trump has been saying is that the U.S. would pay for the wall construction initially, and then he would cut a deal with the Mexican government to get the Mexican government to reimburse him. But the president of Mexico has made very clear that his government has no intention of paying for that wall, and they're at loggerheads at the moment. So I'm not sure where this money's going to come from.
And we're talking about, Republicans who have made it a point to say that they're really working to bring down the national debt, that that's a priority. How difficult is that argument going to be when we're talking about raising billions of dollars for a fence?
Well, it's not just for the fence, remember. There's also a major infrastructure deal that President Trump has made a priority, rebuilding highways, roads, bridges, airports, tunnels, and so forth. That could be in the billions of dollars as well. I don't know where this money's going to come from. Now, Trump has not been quite as much of a deficit hawk as some of the Republicans on the Hill, so he may be more willing to spend money, basically, to spend government money to achieve these priorities. But it's really going to come to a head here this spring. And remember, I believe sometime in March or April, we're going to have another debt ceiling issue. And so that's going to force a decision by the Congress about how much to be spending.
Philip, Speaker Ryan and Senator McConnell also weighed in on enhanced interrogation techniques after President Trump said in an interview last night that you watched that he believes torture works. I want to play a little bit of what he said for our audience.
Well, I think the director of the CIA has made it clear he's going to follow the law, and I believe virtually all of my members are comfortable with the state of the law on that issue now.
And torture is illegal, and torture is not legal. And we agree with it not being legal.
Yeah.
So there you hear the Speaker and Mitch McConnell saying what they just said, and certainly it's a different tone from what we heard last night from President Trump. Do you think the president is putting Republican lawmakers in a tough spot by advocating for something that is not legal?
He is, and it's not just Republican lawmakers who have that belief on torture. Trump's own defense secretary, General Mattis, has spoken out about torture, said he doesn't believe that enhanced interrogation is necessarily something that works. And so this is going to be a hot issue. There's a draft of an executive order that the Washington Post and some other news organizations reported on that could possibly allow the CIA to reopen what are known as black sites. These are enhanced interrogation facilities around the world. They're very controversial. They were shut down in 2009, and it appears that the Trump administration is at least exploring the idea of reopening them, if not actually taking steps to begin that process. So we're going to see where this goes from here.
At the top of his remarks earlier, Speaker Ryan said that congressional Republicans are on the same page with President Trump. Are you expecting a similar message from the president when he addresses the GOP retreat in about an hour from now?
Possibly. It's interesting. Congress, the congressional leaders rather, and the president, publicly at least, have been in very much agreement. They've praised each other. They've said they're working hand in glove, trying to pursue an agenda, but the agendas that they have are very different. Speaker Ryan's Better Way agenda is in direct conflict in some instances on some issues with what President Trump campaigned on and what his administration is trying to begin to do. And so I think behind the scenes there's a lot more tension, or at least some disagreement, than we're seeing publicly. But I would anticipate the president would be pretty complimentary and conciliatory in public in his remarks to the Republican lawmakers at their retreat.
And finally, Philip, we're expecting to see the president sign more executive orders or actions. Our Major Garrett said they could deal with trade or refugee policy. What are your sources telling you?
Well, I think that's right. We're expecting those executive orders, if not today, then in the coming days. But there are other areas where the President Trump could act on executive action. And one thing to think about is he going to follow through with what he said yesterday about promising a full federal investigation of voter fraud? This is a theory that the president has, that 3 to 5 million people voted illegally in last fall's presidential election. There is no evidence that suggests that that is true. But he threatened an investigation, and at some point he's going to have to kind of follow through and begin that investigation. So we could possibly see that later, if not today, then later in the week.
All right, Philip Rucker of the Washington Post. As always, we appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you.